So I'm Professor Emily Moore, and I am the director of Troost iLead. And let's just go around and introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name is Alisar Hamey. I'm a fourth year industrial engineering student pursuing a minor in engineering business and focusing on the human factors stream. For my first internship, I worked at an investment company in Toronto as a research analyst. My second internship was in an aerospace company as a performance analyst.
Hi, my name is Emily Ast. I'm a fourth year civil engineering student. So my PEY experience was quite different from that. I worked on the private side of public-private partnerships, or P3s.
Hey, I'm Chris. I'm a fourth year mechanical engineering student. Yeah, I actually did my PY at Pratt & Whitney, Canada. Yeah, so I was actually with the production team. So my responsibility was as a production technical support intern.
Maybe tell us a little bit about sort of what you had to wear to work and what the work environment was like.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the financial industry, it's very, very formal, like especially on the trade floor. Like the other floors were kind of a bit dressed down, but even on casual Fridays, the people on the trading floor were completely formal because there was so many impromptu meetings. But then for my other internship, which was this summer, I did start out in the office and it wasn't as formal. Like it was between formal, casual.
Emily, how about you? What was it like? And obviously office and site, was it similar or different between the two places?
Yeah, I'd say throughout my co-op, I had like 3 different outfit rotations. So there would be one for the average day in the office with just my team. And that would be, a nice pair of pants and like a blouse. And then there would be for meetings with the project lenders, which as Alisar said would, be a lot more formal. So we would be like dressed in like a nice, pantsuit or a nice dress or something. And then there would be site visit outfits, which is just like jeans and a long sleeve t-shirt. So it really varied.
What was it like for you, Chris?
My company specifically there was a really formal code. So you always had to wear a formal shirt and pants.
And were any of you told the expectations before you showed up, or did you kind of have to figure it out by doing? Yeah, I see, Emily, like people don't think to tell you, like we expect you to show up like this. And so you show up and you have to adjust.
The same like dress for the job you want.
Yeah.
It's very important. So you have to look sharp.
What other types of expectations, were there other expectations in your job that surprised you, or in terms of what was expected as you as an intern?
Yeah, for sure. Like I think in my company specifically, I would believe the number one expectation was being in good health. Like I never expected that. It was a little bit surprising to me because I never really thought about health as something which is really important that they would care about. But like being in good health was really the number one expectation that they would expect out of you. My company gave a lot of importance to this, and it really shows in the quality of work that we produce because your health, it sort of directly impacts on your work performance. And there's even counselors and nurses on site, so that sort of reflects that importance that they give.
Great. Oh, that's really interesting. And to see that really big emphasis on health that you were doing before COVID struck. So that's great to see that some companies were ahead of the game on that. Emily, how about you?
Surprising thing was probably how self-sufficient you have to be. I knew this going into the internship that there's not going to be any rubric or anything for expectations, but I think it was really surprising the amount of free reign I got when it came to tasks and the minimal instruction sometimes, and you would just have to figure it out on your own, which was really daunting at first, but it's something that you get used to and that you get better at.
Alisar, how about you?
Very similar to what Emily said. It's a lot of independence, but they always, I guess, time was really important for them, especially because in finance, they worked with international markets. So you needed to make sure to finish specific tasks before a specific country's market closes.
I'd love to invite you all to give a piece of advice. If you're a second or third year student about to go on an internship, what advice would you have? And maybe we'll start with you, Emily, this time.
The sooner you realize that everyone around you, no matter how high up they are in the company, is just another human with regular problems, and everyone's just trying their best, the better off you'll be.
Yeah.
Just get through your head that they're not some kind of like, I mean, yes, you can idolize them and learn from them, but they're just another person trying their best. So the sooner you realize that,
Yeah.
the better you'll be.
How about you, Chris?
I would say do not neglect data mining, because like one of the most common tasks they would usually give you, especially as you start off in your internship, is data mining.
Yeah.
And the moment someone tells you to do data mining, you may be intimidated. You may think that it's something which you don't want to do. It's something which is boring, and it's not going to be useful in your life. It's not going to be useful in your future. You might as well just, not pay too much attention to it. But do not neglect data mining, because data mining makes you a huge asset to the team, because people will have to come to you for any information, right? And you're needed. That makes you needed. That makes you valuable. Secondary is networking, which is another important thing. There's going to be a huge diversity of problems, and as an intern, you're not going to be able to handle all of that. Like, I wasn't able to handle all that myself. And there are people who know this stuff better. And so the more people that you connect with, the more people you can seek support from.
Alisar.
I think in the application process, don't worry too much about finding the perfect industry or perfect company or even role. I think these internships are such a great opportunity for you to kind of test the waters, to see what sparks your passion. And regardless of how it goes, whether you really like the place you worked at or not, I think it's such a great experience to kind of have connections, expand your network, even like build on skills. So I think that's really important to know. And also, when you start work, it's absolutely natural to be scared and to feel like you don't know what you're doing yet, but you've gone this far and they hired you for a reason. So, just keep moving forward. Don't let that stop you, and you'll get the hang of it eventually.
Great. All of you had great advice. And I think I love that it's your point on the data and information is that's often the role. And it sounds like all three of you were doing some kind of data, pulling together data for decision making. And that's a great way to learn about the field, to learn about the company, and also to get that visibility for your reliability, your ability to do all of that. But as you're learning and by doing it, and asking questions is the other piece of that, are what's missing? What else do I need to know? And people expect students to be asking questions. That's actually a wonderful thing that you want to see students doing, is asking questions at the right time. Thank you so much for your feedback and for your experience, for sharing your experience and sharing what you learned about expectations.